Hello friends, my name is Koolio, and today we are taking a first look impressions video for probably the highest anticipated mobile MMORPG, Black Desert Mobile. Now the game is currently only available in Eastern countries, but is slated to release to Western nations later this year. Now if you have an Android device, there are ways of getting around this and playing the game that are fairly straightforward. However, if you are on the iOS platform, you're going to have an even harder time. In fact, I'm sure there is a way to play it on the iOS, I just couldn't find a credible source on how to do it. Now, I am playing the game on an Android emulator called the MMO player on my PC. Now, it took me about an hour or two to get the game set up, install an English patch for the game, and finally get my hands on it. So now that I've actually played the game, I want to share with you guys my thoughts on Black Desert Mobile, and boy, oh boy, is it a doozy. So the first thing I want to talk about is the overall presentation of the game. Now, one of my biggest gripes when it comes to mobile MMOs is that the interface is usually extremely cluttered and messy, with flashing icons, large UI elements, and so forth. And I just can't stand it even when my PC MMORPGs have bad UIs. Now, I like a slick, clean user interface, and most mobile MMORPGs don't have those. But, and this is a big but, Black Desert Online Mobile is the exception. It has, hands down, the best mobile MMORPG user interface I have ever seen. It is clean, mostly minimalistic. There are some stuff that I wish I could hide, but the user interface is intuitive and incredibly well presented. There are separate windows for inventories and equipment, as well as when you're interacting with the Black Spirit. You can also hide the minimap for more screen space. It's just so well done, and if there are any mobile MMO developers watching this, take notes from this game. Now, there are some other user interface functions I want to talk about, but I will share those later on in the video. Okay, so let's actually talk about the experience of first loading up the game. Now, the first thing I did was to see how far I could push the graphics, and the game states that certain devices can't access higher graphics options, such as the high quality textures and high frame rates, so keep that in mind. However, since I was playing on my PC and I could use as many graphics resources as I wanted, I was able to max it out. So after finishing my tweaking of the game's graphics, I jumped into character creation and holy crap, look at those graphics. They're insane! This is definitely the best looking mobile game I have ever played. And to be honest, it looks almost exactly like its PC counterpart. Now, after I got over my initial shock and awe of how great the game looks, I finally got into making my character. So the game gives you 7 classes to work with more on the way. Now those are the Warrior, Ranger, Witch, Sorceress, Giant, Valkyrie, and Blade Master. So I decided to pick the Sorceress as she was the class I originally played on the PC version. Now once you select your class, you have the option to customize them, and holy crap. It's like they ripped the actual character creation from the PC game and shoved it right into the mobile version. There are so many options for your character. You're able to adjust hair color, length, style, the shape of your eyes, the color of your individual eyes. You can even grab certain body parts and move them around just like in the PC version. Now I could go on and on about all the amazing features in the character creator, but I have to tell you guys, it just smashes away the competition. Now after you finish making your character, you're presented with a beautiful cutscene about the game's lore and world, and then placed right into the game. And after yet another shock and awe moment about the game's graphics, I finally hit the road running. Now you are tasked with some beginning tutorials in which your Black Spirit companion will direct you from place to place, giving you more quests to accomplish and teach you about the game itself. Now the game does have auto-pathing, and despite my dislike for systems in that in MMOs, for some reason I didn't mind it here, and it's probably because I felt like I really needed it for such a huge game. Now I do want to point something out before we jump into combat, and it's that the game is definitely not an open world game, but rather broken down into small areas that are broken up with loading screens. And you know, that's understandable. There's no way they could fit the entire game as one seamless world on your little device. But with that comes the first thing that might disappoint some people. It's that you just simply can't go wherever you want. I tried multiple times to see if I could climb over rocks and hills to explore around, and I just simply couldn't. Okay, now let's talk about combat. And yes, there is auto combat in this game, but yet again, I didn't mind it in this game despite my distaste for these kinds of systems. And I can honestly think it's because the game just looks so freaking good, especially the combat animations. I could literally just sit there and let my character auto grind for a while and I wouldn't care. But on the flip side, combat is incredibly fun in this game. Now you have your basic auto attacks, which you can either tap or hold, and your character will move around the screen, automatically damaging enemies. But where it really shines is in its combos, the ability to dodge, certain abilities that have maximum amount of charges before you have to let them cool down, which also gives your character mana, which can then be spent on stronger, more impactful abilities. Now this is where those UI interface functions come into play that I talked about before. Now if you pay attention to your ability icons, you can see small white bars encircling the icons indicating how many charges they have, including how many times you can dodge before you have to let it go on cooldown. Now that simple UI element is incredibly intuitive and yes, also clean and minimalistic that I couldn't help but attack my enemies and watch how my abilities played off of one another. Now there is no way I'll be able to cover every single combat scenario that this game has to offer, such as PvP and boss scroll raids, but I absolutely love the combat in this game. Now I just want to finish the video off by talking about some other gameplay elements that I found in the game. Now you can gather from most plants and trees in the game. I didn't see any minerals I can mine, but they are most definitely there. I didn't get a chance to work with the node systems or the workers, but I did get contribution points during my play sessions, so I assume that they have them in there as well. They also have gear enhancements, trading, crafting, and yes, an item shop, but from what I could tell, they mainly sold cosmetic items and time enhancement items, and they were at kind of high prices. They also have mounts, instance story missions, and I'm not even kidding you, flipping video effects that is also found in the main game that allows you to change the overall look of this game, which I'm not gonna lie to you, was another moment where my mind kind of exploded. And then finally towards the end of the game, I got a free pet as well, and yes, I named him Harvey. Now after that, I decided to put the game down as I felt my brain was going to explode from all the functions and gameplay elements the developers were able to bring over from the original version. So I looked over at how long I had been playing, and I'm not even kidding you, I had only been playing for half an hour. There is just so much stuff that this game has to offer, and it really is a truly full-fledged MMORPG on mobile devices, and any other game that says the same thing is lying. So remember, this is just a first impressions and there is way more stuff I could cover in this game, but to finish the video and give my overall thoughts on this game, I definitely believe that it lives up to the hype and will be a major turning point for mobile MMOs going forward into the future. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more MMORPG videos in the future. See you, friends. Hey, look at that, you made it to the end of the video. Well, if you enjoyed that video, maybe you could go and check out some of the other ones I have posted right here, as well as check out a list of our awesome patrons over on patreon.com/Koolio Gaming. Guys, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.